Alright, finally, a reason to make short form content that I'm actually excited about. Last night was a Loopsessions. Whenever I post these things to my stories, I get really confused DMs from people being like, what the f is this DJ doing? He's like not doing anything. And I suppose without some context, you wouldn't actually know what is actually happening. Loopsessions is an event that happens in many major cities where producers of every genre and level of expertise come together to produce a song based off of a surprise sample that no one knows of until they get there, and then you have 3 hours to produce a beat and get up in front of the class and perform it in front of everyone. They're extremely fun and a great way to discover new talent in your area, and they're free. I've been going to these things for 3 years, and they're a great way to keep your producer chops up and an excellent way to learn how to be comfortable producing under pressure with a time limit and guidelines from source material that you'd normally never choose yourself. They make you a better producer. The skills I've developed from working under these pressures have made me extremely adept and comfortable in working under ridiculous constraints, and have allowed me to crush several creative projects and complete gigs for clients with the most absurd deadlines and limitations. Add that to the fact that you'll be exposed to a whole community of types that are normally introverted and reclusive, and you have a recipe for a goldmine for discovering new talent and making new friends with a similar creative passion. So that's the reason you see these guys in my Instagram stories just sitting at a desk and vibing out. We're not DJs, we're not technically performing. It's all because we just made these beats in under 3 hours, and we're all hoping the improvised material's good and we're able to get a good mix out of it, and that we hope each of our individual styles resonates with the room. It can be intimidating to stand up in front of a bunch of people like that. Producers are usually a type that's behind the scenes, especially when everyone's absolutely crushing it in their own way, in their own styles, in their own genres. It can be intimidating. Not that it's a competition or anything, but like there's just so much talent in that room that you hope yours can stand next to it. Every time I go, I'm blown away by the amount of talent in that room. It's absolutely inspiring to see how many different ways people can bend and break the same sample. What one person would hear as a perfect sample for like a lo-fi minimalist hip-hop beat, another person might feel is the perfect sonic launch pad for like an insane hyperpop jungle barbershop grindcore remix. It blows my mind every time. So cue last night, I arrived late because my prior meeting ran long, and we're all set to remix The Specials. For those of you who don't know, The Specials were a UK-based ska band prominent in the 70s and 80s and laid the foundation for all the ska punk music I grew up on, being raised by street punks in the 80s. If you don't know what ska music is, the best way I've heard it described in like a meme tweet is what plays in a 13-year-old kid's head when he gets extra mozzarella sticks. It sounds like this.
Stop your messing around. Better think of your future.
Not only was I raised on ska punk music, but I would later go on to spend my late teens and early 20s touring around in a punk band that would turn into a ska punk band, that would turn into a hardcore ska punk band, that would later turn into a hardcore band. I've always been into genre f***ing. So this particular Loopsessions was very sentimental to me for a number of reasons. I love music, but I've made so much of it by now, and everyone and their dog is a music producer, and everyone is so talented, and it's such an oversaturated world that I've kind of become like jaded and old. I mean, I have gray hair in my beard right now. But last night, I have no idea how, but I've made something that is so fucking hard, and it has blown me away. Modesty aside, I don't truly care if anyone else likes it, because it's this amalgamation of music I grew up on as a kid and like my dirty production that I do nowadays, and I never thought these two worlds could meet. Ska music is so disciplined in what it is that's kind of limiting in what you can do with it, in that like you get rid of the downbeat of the drums, maybe the walking bass line or the upstrokes of the guitar, and you just kind of get like hollow, uninspired, flat blues. Last night I basically was just doing that alchemy thing that producers do, where you add elements and remove elements, and I stumbled across this fucking recipe to make the shit bang so hard that today I am having one of those rare producer artist moments where I'm feeling like just so blown away, and I'm filled with feelings of like hope and nostalgia and inspiration and accomplishment and wonder. It's a beautiful feeling, and I'm documenting it here so that if I ever feel stuck in the future, I can look back at this moment for inspiration. And now, with no further ado, here's what I cooked up in 3 hours with no heads up before exporting a render. I hope you enjoy it, but like, even if you don't, you can't make me feel any less euphoric about this beat. Peace.
for their gun. About to spoil the rude boys' fun. But rude boys never give up their gun. It's too hot. It's too hot. Alcohol. They say they're ruder than you. They're ruder than you. Alcohol. They say they're ruder than you. They're ruder than you. You might have a company life. Choose your buried outside. Take insurance, step up your will. Come out and tell them my death is so just. Came back to you. Go them. Go them. And police force are afraid. They can't even touch them. They say if you think you're bad, why don't you come out yourself? These boys are swallowing our fight, fighting tonight. They don't lie, it's too hot. It's too hot. It's too hot. Too hot. Too hot. Too hot. Too hot.